You probably noticed this in your day. You open your task list or inbox. There's maybe 20 or 30 items accumulated from emails, notes, and meetings. And instead of selecting one to start, you scroll, you hesitate, switch tabs, or just close it entirely. The immediate progress stalls right at the point of selection. It's not that all productive activity grinds to a halt, since work generally continues in some form, but the decision about which task to tackle next becomes disproportionately mentally taxing, and that taxing nature is where the real bottleneck forms. People sometimes pin this on poor organization or a lack of discipline, but the underlying mechanism is more fundamental. The brain treats choice as a resource-limited comparison process. With a small set, such as 3 well-defined tasks, evaluation stays quick and low cost. You can scan key attributes like urgency, required effort, or fit with your current goals, and move forward with minimum friction. Scale up to a larger set, however, and the comparison grows disproportionately costly. Every additional option forces you to reweigh trade-offs across more dimensions. Cognitive load climbs sharply. Once it surpasses what you can comfortably manage, the system defaults to adaptations such as deferring the decision, falling back on whatever's most salient, or satisficing by settling on something passable rather than ideal. This doesn't occur universally, but it reliably emerges when one or more specific conditions stack up. When the choice set itself is complex, the decision carries real demand, your preferences aren't clearly defined, or the decision goal itself encourages efficiency and minimizing cognitive effort. A 2015 meta-analysis by Alexander Chernev, Ulf Buchenholz, and Joseph Goodman pulled together 99 observations from prior studies involving over 7,000 participants in total. They looked at scenarios where people faced small versus large assortments and measured overload through concrete indicators, including rates of deferred choice, likelihood of later switching, levels of satisfaction or confidence in the decision, and reported regret after the decision. Their findings confirm that larger assortments do increase overload, and the effect becomes significant and consistent when those 4 moderating factors are present at higher levels. 2 classic studies from Sheena Iyengar and Mark Lepper in 2000 bring this mechanism into sharp focus, each spotlighting a key way overload manifests in behavior. First, the JAM study, which demonstrates deferral as a primary response to overload. Shoppers at an upscale California grocery store came across a tasting booth set up with either 6 or 24 varieties of exotic jam. Anyone could sample as many as they liked and receive a coupon for a discount on purchasing a jar of jam later in the store. Participants encountered the booth while going about their regular shopping and decided whether to stop and sample whatever caught their eye, then move on through the store and later decided whether to redeem the coupon. The booth with 24 jams drew more initial interest. About 60% of passersby stopped, compared to 40% for the 6-jam version. Yet actual purchases told the opposite story. Only 3% of shoppers who encountered the large set would go on to redeem their coupon, while 30% of the shoppers who encountered the small set would redeem their coupon. This maps directly to the 4 mechanisms we talked about. The set was complex, with many unfamiliar flavors, no obvious standouts. Preferences were uncertain. These weren't everyday purchases, so most shoppers lacked strong preformed favorites. The tasks carried moderate difficulty, an impulse decision amid other errands, with the natural time pressure from shopping, and the goal was effort minimizing, optional discount on a non-essential item. When decision cost rose too high, avoidance won. Taste a few, then defer rather than commit. Next, we look at the extra credit essay study, which captures both deferral and reduced engagement downstream when people do proceed. Students in an introductory social psychology class received an optional assignment: write a 2-page essay for extra credit. One group was given 6 possible topics, while the other group was given 30 topics. More students actually completed the assignment when offered only 6 topics, 74% of participants versus 60% with the 30-topic group. Among those who did write and submit, independent graders rated the essays from the limited choice group higher in overall quality. This connects to the mechanisms in the same way. The larger set ramped up complexity. Topics spanned a wide range with no clear superior pick. Preference uncertainty played a role. Most students didn't walk in with strong pre-articulated ideals for social psychology essay prompts. This connects to the mechanisms in the same way. The larger set ramped up complexity. Topics spanned a wide range with no clear superior pick. Preference uncertainty played a role as well. Most students didn't walk in with a strong pre-articulated ideal for a social psychology essay prompt. Task difficulties stemmed from having to assess fit across so many varied ideas. The goal stayed effort minimizing. Optional extra credit with limited payoff. Deferral increased because the evaluation cost outweighed the benefit. For students who pushed through anyway, the large set nudged them towards satisficing, a quick, good enough pick instead of deliberate optimization. That choice process left less mental investment in execution, which showed up as lower quality output. In knowledge work, the same dynamic appears again and again, a backlog with dozens of loosely scoped items versus a handful of more defined ones. When the list expands without built-in structure and no options clearly stand out as lower cost or higher priority, decision cost spikes. You defer by delaying the decision, default to most visible items, or satisfice by grabbing whatever seems tolerable. Activity doesn't cease, it just bottlenecks at the selection boundary, consuming attention on repeated evaluation without real advancement. Chernev and colleagues' meta-analysis frames these studies as solid evidence. Assortment size drives overload predictably when the four factors align. Remove or weaken those conditions, such as by reducing the set size or giving people stronger pre-existing preferences, and the effects shrink or disappear. This perspective clarifies a persistent failure mode in today's productivity tools and workflows. Platforms designed to surface endless, unfiltered options, exposing them all simultaneously without constraint at the decision boundary, don't automatically undermine productivity. They reveal overload exactly when the decision environment crosses those key thresholds. Complex sets, uncertain preferences, demanding tasks, low-effort goals, transforming a simple next step choice into an expensive, stalled loop. This problem compounds when multi-project loads pull attention in completely different directions. Urgency starts to dominate selection, and the signal gets further distorted. So next time, we'll look at how this same mechanism plays out when attention gets pulled across multiple concurrent projects. If you've made it this far, thank you for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.